Okay, we are talking about albumin, the blood protein albumin. There's a lot I want to say about this stuff, but I don't want to make this the albumin show, although there's so much to talk about and we haven't really finished it. But we'll just say a few more things today, maybe tomorrow, and then we'll move on to our next peptide. Before we get into that, I just want to say a couple of things about testosterone. That's where we left off yesterday. We got a call about testosterone, and there's a couple things about albumin and testosterone I want to talk about. But before I get into that, for you guys who are dealing with low T issues, if you're older, if you find that you're in the gym and you just can't gain the muscle mass that you want, or you're getting body fat and you can't get rid of belly fat, or if your sex drive isn't what it used to be, or if you're using testosterone or androgel and you're not getting the benefits that you want, chances are your body is an estrogenic female hormone, estrogenic mode. Estrogen, of course, is much more than a female hormone, but it does have feminization properties. Also, the chances are pretty good that you're dealing with insulin resistance. So if you're having problems with testosterone, either low T or low T effects, if you're in the gym not getting the benefits that you want, or if you're taking testosterone and not getting the benefits, the chances are good either A, that you're dealing with excess feminization, excess estrogen. Estrogen is a stress hormone, and it's made in body fat. The more body fat you have, the more estrogen you're going to be producing. Men and women, folks. Men and women. If that's not a reason to get rid of that body fat, I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know what it is. Body fat means feminization. Body fat means feminization. So losing that body fat's the first thing that you want to do. There's also great anti-estrogenic foods you can use. Probably the cruciferous vegetables are the most important of the anti-estrogenic foods. Broccoli, kale, cabbage, cauliflower. If you don't like those kinds of foods, learn to like them. One of the great tricks that you could use for broccoli and cauliflower, these medicinal cruciferous vegetables, if you don't like the taste of them, is to steam them, use butter and salt. Steam your broccoli, steam your cauliflower, steam your kale, throw in a bunch of butter, or any kind of oil really, but I like butter, and then sprinkle liberally Celtic sea salt on top. There's nobody that doesn't like steamed broccoli or steamed cauliflower with butter and salt, or very few folks don't like that kind of stuff. Cruciferous vegetables have their sugars released when they are steamed slightly, very, very, very slightly. Steam your cruciferous vegetables, add butter and salt. Wonderful anti-estrogenic foods. Anti-feminization foods, also good for women who are dealing with estrogen issues like cysts and fibroids. You'll notice that a lot of the things that we talk about as being associated with estrogen or excess estrogen are also associated with excess insulin. This insulin, estrogen, insulin, testosterone relationship is very, 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 very important for lots of reasons, but primarily because we have control. We have control over our insulin. This is so fundamental, folks. We've got 100 million Americans dealing with insulin issues. We have control. You don't need a doctor. You don't need insurance companies. You don't need metformin. You don't need prescription drugs. You don't need a pharmacist. You don't need any medical intervention to deal with insulin issues, and this is the key to dealing with anabolism, building. So, number one, cruciferous vegetables. Number two, essential fatty acids, especially omega-3 fatty acids. They have stabilizing, estrogen stabilizing effects. They contain phytoestrogens that can stabilize toxic excess estrogens that the body makes. Flaxseed, hemp seed, all omega-3 oils pretty much. Eggs, same way. And wild fish, wild-caught salmon especially, fatty fish, contain these estrogen blockers, if you will. There are herbs that can do it. Passion flower, chamomile flower. There's something called tribulus that has anti-estrogenic properties. Nuts, raw nuts and seeds can help. Avocados can help. Olives can help. These are all wonderful anti-estrogenic food substances. They taste great, and they're great ways to help stabilize excess estrogen if you're dealing with low T, which may be not just low T, but excess estrogen. I like zinc as a testosterone-building nutrient. Vitamin A is very important as well. In fact, vitamin A and zinc go together. As I said yesterday, when you're using zinc, make sure you balance it out with copper. And, of course, whey protein, super, super androgenic building and pro-testosterone. So those are some great food strategies for you guys if you're dealing with low T and that don't involve having to use androgel or testosterone injections. And if you are using androgel and testosterone injections, these kinds of strategies can make those medical interventions much more effective and allow you to lower your dose even, perhaps, of your testosterone injections or your androgel. Okay. So this whole idea of building, anabolism, super important. Catabolism is also important. Breakdown. There's all this balance between breakdown and build up. In science, we call it anabolism for building, ANA, anabolism for building, catabolism for breaking down. Together they make up metabolism. If anybody ever told you or you ever said, oh, it's my metabolism, or I've got a fast metabolism, or I've got a slow metabolism, what you're really talking about is this balance between the breakdown of the body and the buildup of the body, the catabolic response, the breakdown response, and the anabolic response, the buildup response. You want these things to be in balance. Obviously, you want more anabolism, more buildup than breakdown, but you do need to have breakdown. You can't put new wine in old vessels. You got to have a breakdown that precedes the buildup. In fact, breakdown always precedes the buildup. That's what exercise really is. Exercise is muscles breaking down. This precedes build up. Breakdown always precedes build up. In the skincare world, breakdown of the stratum corneum, the surface layer of the skin, precedes buildup of connective tissue. So if you're dealing with wrinkles, you can actually work out your skin. I started a whole skincare company that was based on this concept. Some of you guys know about it, Sunita Skincare. All right, we're coming back with more good health information. Don't go away. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We're talking about anabolism, bodybuilding. We're all bodybuilders. We all should be bodybuilders. We all should be just like those guys in the muscle mags, if not that extreme, in principle, because that's what health is about. Health is about regeneration. Health is about healing. Health is about tissue building itself. Health is about an excess of anabolism, an excess of building over breakdown. We want to be in the black. If the body's a business, it's either in the red or in the black. We want to be in the black. That's what it means to be net anabolic. If you are not net anabolic, you are breaking down. That's what degenerative disease means. It means you're not net anabolic, you're net breakdown, net catabolic. Lots of ways that you can turn this thing around. We've been spending a lot of time talking about glycation, candying, if you will, sugaring, if you will, of albumin and various proteins. One of the most significant effects of glycated albumin, and make no mistake about it, this is a very significant measurement of how our body is breaking down, of the degeneration of the body, especially for diabetics. One of the most significant effects of glycated albumin is clotting of the blood. Blood clotting in general is a manifestation of a body in distress, the manifestation of a body that is breaking down. And this is a serious issue. Blood thinning drugs are a major top 10 drug, major top 10 prescription drug. That's because everybody seems to have coagulation, blood clotting issues. Glycation in general can cause blood clotting issues, but especially glycation of the blood protein albumin. Hypercoagulation, increases in blood clotting are likely to follow glycation of albumin. Sugar then basically clots the blood, or more accurately, poor sugar control clots the blood. Poor sugar control, not enough insulin response, so-called insulin resistance, will clot the blood, will cause the blood to become coagulable, if that's the right word. It'll cause the blood to be clotting, to be prone towards clotting. Blood needs to flow. Clotted, sticky, clogged blood means less oxygen to tissues. It means less detoxification. You guys see how significant this is. It means less nutrient delivery to cells. And among the best-selling drugs are the blood-thinning drugs. And among the most toxic drugs, the most deadly drugs are the blood-thinning drugs. If you read the pharmacy trade journals, you're going to see that pharmaceutical companies are in ecstasy. They are so ecstatic over the growing market in blood thinners. There was an article published on the website marketresearch.com that had analysts predicting that sales in blood-thinning drugs just are going to explode over the next 6 years. They're expected to double. In the United States alone, they're expected to double from over $7 billion a year to $15 billion a year. This is for one class of drugs by the year 2019. This is why drug companies love the fact that we're sick. Drug companies love the fact that our blood is clotting. Drug companies love the fact that they can sell us more of these deadly, toxic, and make no mistake about it, these Pradaxa-type drugs, these blood-thinning drugs, are, while perhaps not as deadly as warfarin and Coumadin, rat poison, they're still problematic. And glycated hemoglobin causes other problems too. Remember, albumin acts as a delivery truck for many nutrients. Albumin delivers fatty acids, albumin delivers vitamins, albumin delivers hormones, and all of these substances, the delivery of all of these substances is likely to suffer when we have sugared, candied, glycated albumin. Albumin also acts like a garbage truck for toxins, helping clear them out of the blood, ultimately protecting the tissues and organs and cells from the toxic effects of not just poisons, but also prescription drugs. If you're taking prescription drugs, your body is using albumin to help clear these things out. You could think of albumin as a temporary holding spot for drugs. If your albumin is glycated, these holding effects are going to be compromised. That means more drug toxicity. That means more drug side effects. That means drugs are going to stay in your body longer and be more toxic, and this is all secondary to the accumulation of sugar in the blood. This is all secondary to the depotentizing effects of excess insulin. This is all secondary to insulin resistance, which is all, in turn, dependent on the standard American diet, on sugary refined carbs. The more sugar we eat, the poorer our sugar control, the more our albumin will glycate, and the more toxic our drugs will be. And the more toxic our bodies will become as well. Now, it's all good and well for me to sit here and tell you about how bad sugar is. Everybody knows how bad sugar is. But what do? I've said this so many times before. Don't bother with willpower. Unless you're a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret or a Zen martial artist, it's going to be very difficult to use willpower. Even then, as soon as you are distracted, your willpower is going to drop. So don't worry about willpower. Try to wean yourself off of sugar by taking in more calories from satiety, that's satisfaction-inducing foods. Protein, especially. The more protein you eat, the less sugar you're gonna want. The more protein you eat, the less sugar you're gonna want. Test this out yourself today. Go get yourself some One World Whey protein and just do a ridiculous amount of it. I'm not advising that you do a ridiculous amount of whey protein all the time, but just do a little bit, or just do it one time. Just do a crazy amount of whey protein, 100 grams, and then see if you really want sugar after that. Or do a big, huge, humongous steak or hamburger, something, or a 12-egg omelet, something crazy. And then see if sugar sounds good to you. I guarantee you it won't, because once your body has met its need, once your body has enough protein in it, the satiety, the satisfaction centers in your brain will click in, and it will be very difficult for your body to absorb or utilize sugar, bread, pasta, refined carbohydrates of any kind, really any food, but especially carbs and refined carbs and sugars. If after you have a steak you still feel like you want a piece of pie, you haven't had enough protein in your meal. If after you've had your meal and you still feel like you need dessert, you haven't had enough protein in that meal. Protein opposes sugar. Dietary protein, I should say, opposes sugar in the sense that the more protein you eat, the less sugar you're going to want. One of the most obvious signs of poor albumin production involves fluid retention. If you're not making albumin, chances are you're going to be dealing with edema. Edema is a fancy way of saying fluid retention, edema. Edema comes in two varieties. You got pitting edema. Pitting edema is the type of edema or fluid retention that shows up as a pit. When you put pressure on your skin, you'll see that your skin kind of pits, forms a little pocket, and then that pocket doesn't go up, as opposed to non-pitting edema, where pressure doesn't result in this long-lasting indentation. There's lots of causes of edema, but one of the major causes of edema is poor albumin production, secondary to poor intake of protein or problems absorbing protein out of the gut. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We're coming back at you with more good health information right after this. Don't go away.
America's #1 source for independent talk radio for over a decade. We are the GCN Radio Network.
One of the all-time greatest bodybuilding anabolic strategies of all is intermittent fasting, taking days off from food periodically, maybe, and not on a regular basis, but intermittently, maybe 1 day a week or even 2 days a week, completely not eating, intermittent fasting. When the body doesn't have food, doesn't know when the next meal is coming in, and temporarily at least, it will build muscle so that you can go out and find food. That's the logic of the body. So intermittent fasting, keeping the body guessing as to when the next meal is going to come, is a wonderful way to help build muscle. This is the exact opposite of what you hear from dietitians and even medical professionals about eating. They're always like, oh, you want to make sure you graze all day, or you eat 5 meals a day. That's the dumbest thing you can do if you want to grow muscle or if you want to reverse the aging process. In fact, caloric restriction in general is the single most powerful anti-aging, pro-building, pro-anabolic strategy that you could ever use. Caloric restriction in general, and then intermittent fasting, taking days off from food, whole days off. That means 24 hours off from food. And if you have an autoimmune disease or an inflammatory disease, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better when you don't eat. Any kind of immune reaction will calm down, will slow down. Inflammatory reactions will calm down, will slow down. I'm not talking about big inflammation. Micro-inflammatory reactions, inflammation that occurs around the cell, will get a chance to rectify and resolve themselves if you don't put food in your body for a day, 1 day a week, or 3 days a month, any 4 days a month, 2 days a month, even 1 day a month. Some of us have gone our entire lives without taking 1 full day off from food. Can you imagine? Without giving your system, many of us have gone 30, 40, 50, 60 years without having gone 1 full day without food, or even 8 hours without food. Many of us. All right, our number today is 855-660-4261. Time to hit the phones. Let's take our first phone call of the day. Michael in California, welcome to the Bright Side. Michael?
Yes,
is this Michael?
Yes, hello.
What's up, Michael?
I'm taking, I got rheumatoid arthritis. I'm taking Plaquenil, methotrexate, and
ouch, that hurts me.
Yeah, folic acid, and I'm wondering, I'm trying to see if I could start taking like turmeric and.
Well, of course you can. You should, and I don't want you to think. And what, Sammy? Of course you should. Absolutely. I don't want to hear you taking it like you're taking a drug, though. Don't say Don't say I'm taking turmeric, or that's how you do. That's how you talk about when you're taking a drug. You don't say I'm taking a nutritional supplement. You say I'm nutriating myself. I'm sustaining myself. I'm kind of picking on you a little bit, but I'm not trying to be attacking here. What I'm trying to get across is this idea: we don't want to look at nutrients as being allopathic medicine where they fight disease. Nutrients make the body healthy. Nutrients help the body run like gas helps your car run. You don't put gasoline in your car because you want to fix your fuel injection. You put gasoline in your car so it's going to run correctly. And then the fuel injection and everything's going to work correctly. And it's the same thing with the body, except instead of just one fueling substance in the body like gasoline, you got 90 fueling substances. They're called the 90 essential nutrients, and you need them all. Now, turmeric doesn't quite. Well, hang on. Let me finish my thought real quick, and then I'll let I'll answer your question. Turmeric is not a nutrient. It's awesome stuff. It's powerfully anti-inflammatory, but doesn't count as a nutrient, nor does SAMe. So yeah, turmeric's great and SAMe is great, but you gotta focus on the essential nutrients first. And I'll tell you what those are, and I'll tell you a surefire way to deal with autoimmunity, which rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, here in a second. Let me say one last thing. If you had to pick a top 5 list of poison, toxic, deadly, evil, satanic, perverted, nasty, ugly medicines that no doctor in his right mind who understood biochemistry, understood biology would ever give you, methotrexate would be right there. It is awful, 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 deadly stuff. And I wouldn't even smell it. If I was counting out methotrexate pills in my pharmacy, I'd be wearing a gas mask, let alone taking it. I'd be wearing one of those hazmat uniforms. No, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
it makes me sick.
I'm sure it does. Well, you don't need it, and it's not helping you. And your doctor's a bonehead. And I'm sorry to say that. I promised myself I wasn't going to say that anymore. But every time I hear that, it makes me so angry. So here's the deal, my friend. Let me just tell you a couple of things, and I'll let you ask a question, okay? Rheumatoid arthritis is the sign that your body's immune system is just going wacko. It's going nuts, and it's attacking itself. Rheumatoid arthritis is muscular dystrophy of the joints. It's multiple sclerosis of the joints. It's myasthenia gravis of the joints. It's any autoimmune disease you want to name of the joints. It's the same thing. It just happens to be attacking the joints. It's Hashimoto's thyroid of the joints. So all you got to do is figure out what is hyping up your immune system. What is jacking that immune system up? And 80% of your immune system is in the digestive tract. So, hello, you got a digestive problem. And I'm not a psychic, my friend. Michael, I've never talked to you before, but I'm telling you, you've had a digestive condition probably your entire life, certainly the last few decades, correct or not? And if it's
that's correct.
Okay. Now, I'm not a wizard. I'm just telling you how the body works. And this is not just for Michael, you guys. It's for everybody out there. We got tens of millions of people dealing with these kinds of health issues. And they're simple. And you don't need a doctor. So number one, Michael, get yourself on the Albumin Nightly Essence today. Don't waste any time. Start using fermented foods as well. You want about 80 billion units a day of the Albumin Nightly Essence, and then eat fermented foods like miso and tempeh and kimchi and fermented beets and anything fermented. Just keep it up all day long. Fermented foods. Stabilize that gut bacteria, and then eat less calories. Put in less food in your stomach so your digestive tract can get kind of a break. Practice intermittent fasting. If you fast for 1 or 2 days, you're going to notice that your rheumatoid arthritis is going to improve just simply by not putting food in your system. Now, obviously you have to eat, but for a day or two, your body is going to thank you. It's going to love you for this, and your immune system will quiet down, your inflammatory system will quiet down, and you're going to notice results. So, number 1, probiotics. Number 2, caloric restriction and intermittent fasting. Number 3, use apple cider vinegar. Number 4, after meals. Number 4, get on the Z Radical from Longevity. It'll coat the digestive tract. Same with aloe. Same with noni. Same with bone soup. These proteoglycan materials that come from cartilage and that are found in the aloe and the noni and the fucoidan in the Z Radical will coat and soothe the digestive tract. You notice I didn't say anything about your joints here. You call every other health radio show on the internet or on the radio, and you tell them you have rheumatoid arthritis, and they'll tell you about your joints, and they'll tell you about glucosamine, and they'll tell you about how you heal, how you build joint tissue with sulfur or protein. I'm telling you, focus on the digestive system first, and then we can work on building joint tissue. There's lots of ways to do that, and as it turns out, the aloe and the noni and the bone soup that help soothe the digestive tract will also help you with your joints. Now, there's a ton of other things you could do. You probably want to be on the ultimate EFAs. Essential fatty acids are powerfully anti-inflammatory. Omega-3 essential fatty acids. Vitamin E is one of my all-time favorite anti-inflammatory nutrients. You should be using 400 IU of vitamin E a day, every day. If I were you, I would be using the mixed tocotrienol form. That's the deluxe form of vitamin E. Don't forget about vitamin C. Don't underestimate the importance of vitamin C for rheumatoid and for all immune issues. Probably 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. You'll find you'll get all that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which you should be sipping on all day long. There's lots more you can do, but that's certainly a good start. I'll let you ask your question. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Michael.
Oh, that's okay. So I was just reading this magazine here, Arthritis Today, and then I found this one area where I began to talk to you about cat's claw, fish oil, ginger.
They're all great. They're all great. Hang tight. And they should call it not Arthritis Today. Read my magazine. No Arthritis Today. Not Arthritis Today. Or tomorrow. Or anytime. You don't need to have arthritis. Arthritis is the sign of a body that's begging you, crying out for help. All right, hang tight, Michael. We'll finish up when we come back from our break. Ahmad, Muriel, Steve, Sandy, we'll get to all you guys when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to The Bright Side. Michael in California. Real quick, what do you got for us? Because I want to get to as many calls as possible. You're saying cat's claw and omega-3s?
Boswellia.
Yeah. Don't waste your money, guy. Listen, they're all great. Okay. Boswellia is frankincense, and cat's claw is great, and turmeric is great, and there's all kinds of wonderful anti-inflammatory plants and herbs. But if you're nutritionally deficient, they're not going to do the trick.
Okay.
So focus on the digestive tract, because you got to absorb the supplements you're taking and the nutrients in the food. So focus on the digestive tract first. First, foremost, digestion. That's why I say the nightly essence and the Z Radical and the intermittent fasting, and watch for problem foods. If you have diarrhea or constipation, link that up to foods, or heartburn, link that up to foods and eliminate those foods. Less calories, eating less food in general. Bone soup, liquid foods, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You see what we're doing here? We're focusing on digestive health and wellness. Then the Mighty 90, the essential nutrients that everybody needs. Then you can throw in some extras like vitamin E, 400 IU IU of vitamin E is very important. Lots of vitamin C. The B complex is unspeakably important. We haven't even touched that. All of B complex. I don't want to emphasize any one B vitamin over another. All of them are important. And then you could start to throw in the turmeric, which is an amazing herb, aloe, which is an amazing plant, and then also cat's claw and these boswellia and all these other ones that you talked about. But the fundamentals are going to be digestion, and then also after that, the Mighty 90. Okay, buddy?
So just start doing a bunch of the probiotic to start with and doing some fasting.
Absolutely. Today, as soon as possible, and the fermented foods, too.
So just stop the meds, huh?
I didn't. Now, did I? I never said stop the meds.
Oh, well.
I personally, if it was me, I can tell you what I would do. I would tell the doctor to take his meds. I would watch the doctor eat that crap, put the poison in his body. That's what I would do, but that's me. I'm not telling you what to do. Once you're under a doctor's care, it's between you and the doc. And you got to explain to him, doctor, tell me about this methotrexate. Is it true that it's actually chemotherapy that kills my cells? That's what methotrexate is. It's chemotherapy that kills cells. And in your case, it kills immune system cells. Now, what kind of medical professional thinks that's an intelligent thing to do? Look it up. Methotrexate, cytotoxic. That means cyto means cells. Cell toxic. Is that smart? You need a doctor to do that for you? I'm done getting upset. My blood pressure's getting too high. Thank you so much, Michael. I hope I helped you. Okay, buddy? God bless.
And not getting any response. So.
From what?
I've told him I've gotten sick. He's a Stanford professor.
Great. He's a Stanford genius. All right, good. Ask him to come on the bright side if he wants to. I'd like to talk to him. Tell him there's some crazy pharmacist on the radio that wants to have a conversation with him. See what he does. See what he says. All right, I got to move, Michael. Thank you so much, buddy. God bless. All right. Let's see. Muriel in Canada, welcome to the bright side. What's going on? Muriel, going once, going twice, going
Hello?
3 times. Muriel? You don't sound like Muriel. Are you Muriel?
No, it's Mario.
Oh, Mariel. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. I'm sorry. My bad. Got to talk to my producer guy about that. What's up, Mariel? How can we help you?
Hi, Ben. I have a genetically degenerative eye disease called retinitis pigmentosus.
Yes,
my
I know.
retina is just degenerating. I'm
Okay.
legally blind.
Okay.
Is it possible to reverse this anyhow with nutrition?
I would say it's a pretty good chance. I would say you got a pretty good chance, buddy. If you have a degenerative disease, that means the cells, in your case, the retina cells, are not getting nutrients. They're not getting fed. Now, I'm not sure why you think that's a genetic disease. It's a degenerative disease. You weren't born with it.
I was. Some of my family members also have it. It's hereditary.
But you were fine when you were younger, right?
I was up until about 12, 13 years old.
Well, when you were a baby, you didn't have retinitis pigmentosa, did you? You saw fine when you were a baby.
No.
You weren't born with this thing. It's a degenerative disease. That means it's degenerative. That means it's breaking down chronically and it's not getting better. That means something is stopping the tissue from healing. Eye cells, retina cells, joint cells, bone cells, muscle cells. These things regenerate. They keep growing. They die and then new cells are born. In your case, that's not happening. That means something is stopping this regenerative process from occurring. That usually involves inflammation. Now, I'm talking microscopic inflammation. I know I say that a lot, but it's very important to really reinforce. We're talking microscopic inflammation at the retina cell level. Something is getting in there that's keeping the cells from dividing and growing as they should, differentiating as they should. So what you want to do is figure out what that is. There's a couple of strategies for you. Number one, okay, Mariel, M-A-R-I-E-L, is that right, Mariel?
No, it's Mario.
Oh, Mario. Okay, Mario. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mario.
Okay, Mario. Okay, Mario. This is what you do, Mario. Here you go. Here's what you do. Number one, if, it's in your interest to find some digestive issues. I don't know if you probably do have them, but it's in your interest to find them. And that way you can eliminate the foods that are causing them. That's step number one for all inflammatory degenerative diseases, is stop the bleeding, stop the poison from coming into the body, turn off the spigot of poison that's entering into the body through food. And that if you just want to, you don't want to waste time trying to find the digestive triggers, what you want to do is fast for a couple of days and then start to reintroduce foods, and then you'll notice real quickly what are the foods that are causing the problems. That's step number one. It's basically the same stuff that we talked about with Michael. Then you're going to have to start patching up the gut, Z-radical, digestive enzymes with your meals, apple cider vinegar, probiotics, fermented foods, along with your probiotics and your Albumin nightly essence, And then glutamine powder can also help soothe the digestive tract. And then you want to start working on anti-inflammatory nutrients. Vitamin E is probably the most important, along with vitamin C. Selenium also has wonderful anti-inflammatory properties, and it's also good for the eyes. Use the OPC selenium around 400 to 600 micrograms a day. Make sure you're getting enough protein. I would be using whey protein, and that'll also help you wean off of the pro-inflammatory refined foods. Let's see what else. The B complex, you'll get all that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Make sure you're using your omega-3 fatty acids. The amino acid taurine, Taurine, maybe about a gram of it a day, can be very helpful for eye health and retina health. Vitamin A, super important for retina health. If you have any kind of digestive problems, one of the first things that's going to happen is you're not going to absorb your vitamin A, and that means you're going to have problems with zinc. Vitamin A and zinc absorption go together. They're both important for the eyes. So 20,000 IU of, this is all after you've started working on the digestive system, 20,000 IU of vitamin A, and then 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate, along with maybe 2 to 4 milligrams of copper a day. Lots more you could do, but that's a great start for you. If you want, you might also try some N-acetylcysteine NAC, maybe 500 milligrams a day. You can get a product called Vision FX from Longevity, or you can also get other eye products too. Anything that helps you with the eyes is also going to help you with the skin as an added benefit. Last but not least, phytonutrients, especially yellow and red pigments that are found in squash and pumpkin and carrots and cantaloupe, and anywhere we see red, tomatoes, anywhere we see red and orange pigments, those are going to be very helpful for the eyes, but that presupposes that you'll be absorbing those red phytonutrients, the carotenoid phytonutrients from foods. You got to make sure that you're using your digestive enzymes with your tomatoes and spinach and corn and all these other nutrients that have all these other foods that have eye nutrients, eye phytonutrients in them. Make sure you're taking them with foods. Got to move on. Mario, thank you so much for your call from Canada. Real quick, Steve in Florida, welcome to the bright side. I got to move fast here. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. How can I help you, buddy?
Well, I want to tell you how great of an American you are. I appreciate you doing this.
Praise
on the
God.
radio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make it quick. But it's about my daughter, and she has fibromyalgia. She has that now, I think, probably 5 years or whatever. She was doing real good. She had a gallbladder taken out about 5 years ago or so. All of a sudden, she was doing real good 2 weeks ago, and she was eating, and she broke out real bad. It looked like hives is what it looked like.
That's an allergic reaction. Do you know what she was eating? Was it one particular thing that she was eating?
Well, she was eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if you believe that.
Well, yeah, I do believe it. Peanut butter is highly allergenic. The sugar isn't going to help. That's going to suppress the immune system, make it more likely that you'll have an allergic reaction. Of course, you can always react to the gluten and other proteins that are in the bread. So a peanut butter and jelly sandwich can be one of the most allergenic things you could ever eat, and it's basically the core of many children's diets. So yes, that's not unlikely. So you got to do the same thing, Steve. And I hate to cut you off here, but you got to do the same thing that we've been saying all morning here. Focus on digestive health and wellness. Without a gallbladder, she's compromised. She's like a heavyweight fighter with one arm tied behind her back. So without a gallbladder, you got to place extra attention on fat absorption. Hey, Steve, I hate to do this to you, and Sandy and Ahmed, I know I do it all the time, but we just have an hour on this program, and that's just how it goes. So if you guys can call back on Monday, we'll try to get you first up. And I really apologize because it breaks my heart to have to leave you guys on hold. I know you got real important issues, and I want to help everybody, but we don't have enough time to do what we want to do. So call back Monday. We'll get you first up, Steve, Ahmad, and Sandy. Thank you so much for your calls. I'm Pharmacist Ben. It's been great being with you. If you got questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, please shoot me an email, ben@ksco.com. Click on the Join the Team link on brightsideben.com if you want to start a longevity business. We will talk to you all later, folks. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Bye for now.